Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the new 7-star rarity armors and whether it is worth upgrading to it or not. But before we jump into the video, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So in my personal opinion, there are two factors that you need to look at in order to determine whether you should be upgrading to the 7-star rarity armors or not. The first factor is what type of armor are you currently using? If you're using a 6-star rarity armor such as the Sestato Armor Arga, like what I'm using currently on ship 4, then I personally don't really think you need to upgrade to the 7-star rarity unless you have really budget augments. So on my ship 4 character, I have invested pretty heavily into my 6-star rarity armors. As you can see here, I have an Addy Capsule, I've got Decold Might, I've got Gigas Might 3, Didal Soul 3, and Dreadkeeper 3. So the only things that I actually need to upgrade over here is going to be my Gigas Might. I'll be upgrading Gigas Might 3 to Gigas Might 4. I'll be upgrading my Didal Soul 3 into Didal Soul 4, or maybe even Frostal Soul 4, depending on what I have at hand. And that's pretty much all I'm going to be changing here. Maybe Dreadkeeper 4 if that's actually a thing. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to be upgrading, simply because Decold Might and Addy Capsules are extremely expensive, and it doesn't make sense for me to reinvest that much Meseta and that much resources to just upgrade my 6-star rarity armor into a 7-star rarity armor. And the reason for this is because we are only 2 months away from Stia. And once the Stia region comes out, I guarantee you there is going to be a D-Hot Might and a D-Hot whatever, where it gives you high temperature damage resistance plus 25%. I guarantee that is going to be a thing. We're going to be in a volcano region. The most high level endgame farming area is most likely going to have some sort of environmental damage where you need to build up some resistances so that you can farm there. So no matter how good these 7-star rarity armors are, I personally will not be upgrading on my ship 4 character. I'm going to be saving all of my capsules, saving all of my resources, saving all of my Meseta, because Stia is literally only 2 months away. The only way the game can convince me to upgrade to a 7-star rarity armor is if content is so difficult that I need the 7-star rarity armor in order to complete it. But if we look back at history and look at the trend of the content releases, there shouldn't be anything that's really mind-blowingly difficult. Maybe we'll get Dark Falls rank 3 later down the line, but it's not going to be so difficult to the point that you need to get 7-star rarity armor because you can't survive on 6-star rarity armor. I don't think it's going to be that difficult. So you're going to be perfectly fine if you're in the same situation as my ship 4 character, where you have your endgame augments on your endgame armor already fully decked out. Then there is no need for you to upgrade to the 7-star rarity armors, unless you want to, of course. If you are truly chasing that min-max territory where you need to have the best of the best, then by all means go for it. Just understand that those 7-star rarity armors and the amount of money and resources that you invest into it will only give you 2 months of mileage before you will need to upgrade again. But now let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum. So you can see over here that my outfit has changed, and this is because this is my ship 3 character. And if you look at my ship 3 character, you can see I am still using 5-star rarity armor. So this is the Sorzest armor. And on top of that, you can see that my augments are not super complicated. I've got Might 3, Dust Soul 3, Tria Star Omel, Super Stamel, and Gigas Might 3. So these augments are not very expensive. They're actually extremely inexpensive. And so if you're in the same situation as my ship 3 character, then I would upgrade to the 7-star rarity armors. The first reason being that, hey, I'm still using a 5-star rarity armor, upgrading to a 7-star rarity armor, that's an improvement of 2 rarities, so that's definitely going to give me a lot more additional stats, at the very least 2% more melee potency or whatever potency that I need. It's also going to give me more HP as well as more photon power, so that is a win-win. However, more importantly is of course my augments. The augments that I'm currently using isn't super crazy. There's no very expensive high-end capsules over here. All of these augments over here are relatively inexpensive. I wouldn't say that they're budget tier, but they're kind of like mid-tier. There's nothing that really stands out here that's like, wow, that's super rare, that's super expensive. All of these capsules are relatively accessible and pretty easy to obtain, and this is why I would be very comfortable in upgrading my armor from my 5-star rarity Sorzest armors to the new 7-star rarity armors. And this is why I would recommend players who are in this situation to upgrade to the 7-star rarity armors, because hey, you know, you're gonna get a bunch of free stats for just upgrading from a 5-star rarity to a 7-star rarity. And on top of that, you won't need to invest too heavily into augments to make your new armor better than your old armor. And this is why my ship 3 character will be upgrading to the new 7-star rarity armors, even though I know at the back of my head that I'm only gonna get 2 months of mileage with that new armor. But to me, it's gonna be worth it because I'm not spending over 5 million meseta on all 3 pieces for my augments, enhancement, all of that stuff. It's gonna be relatively inexpensive to improve my current gear. But now that we've covered the 2 extremes, so fully min-maxed versus super budget or like mid-tier, now we have to tackle the difficult question of what if you're in between both of those camps? And this of course brings us to my ship 2 character, which is my main character. So my main character over here, yes, she is using 5-star rarity armor, so you know, obviously upgrading to the 7-star rarity is going to help a lot. But the thing is, I have heavily invested into these armors. As you can see, I do have an Addy Stamel capsule, which is a relatively expensive Addy capsule, and on top of that, the armor itself also has a Fixa guard level 2. So, you know, these armors are relatively good because of these additional stats. But if we look at my current financial situation on my main character, I am relatively well off. I'm sitting on almost 50 million meseta. So in my situation, I will be upgrading to the 7-star rarity armors because I can afford it. I'm going to be spending about 10 to 20 million on these armors so that they get decent capsules. I probably will not be investing any Addy capsules on those new armors. However, I will be going a level 4 soul, Gigasmite 4, but I will be mixing and matching all of these different augments in order to get better stats than what I currently have. So my current stats are pretty balanced. You know, I gain 80 HP, 15 photon power, as well as 12 melee potency on every piece of armor. So this results in a very tanky and brawler type of build with like medium amount of damage. I'm nowhere close to min-max damage, but I am extremely tanky and I can take quite a lot of punishment without dying. So the new 7-star rarity armors, I'm probably going to be focusing a little bit more on the offensive side and less on the HP side, because when I made these armors back in the day, I did not have the add-on skills, and the add-on skills have given me a substantial amount of HP, which has kind of made me overkill on the HP. I don't really need more than 1000 HP when I'm fighting Darkfalls rank 2 or any of the difficult content. I feel like 1000 HP or more seems a little bit excessive. So I'm going to be aiming for about 800 to 850 HP and investing the extra stats or flexibility that I gain on more damage. And that's pretty much my game plan. So I will be upgrading to the new armors of my main character, but that is solely because I can afford it, because I do have a lot of resources. If you are in the same situation but do not have a lot of resources, I would say skip. You know, there's no real need for you to go to the 7-star rarity armors unless it's just like mind-blowingly good. If it gives you like 5% more potency or something insane, then yes, by all means do it, because you know, you're going to get more damage, which is going to make your life a lot easier, and it'll also save you a little bit more money on the augments, because you don't need to go crazy on the augments since you get so much potency from the armor itself. I don't think it's going to be too crazy. I think it might be like 1% potency higher than the current 6-star rarity armors. So, you know, nothing super mind-blowing. So if you do want to save your resources, it's perfectly fine to skip these 7-star rarity armors. So in conclusion, if you are fully endgame right now with your 6-star rarity armors, your Sistato, Argas, Beltas, and Shezas, if you're using those armors with like Mastery 4 and like Addy capsules and all those really expensive endgame augments, then there is no need for you to upgrade to the 7-star rarity. It's not worth it because you've invested so much into your 6-star rarity armors already through the augments. Now, if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, you're still using 5-star rarity armors or 6-star rarity armors, but the augments you're using are extremely inexpensive. So, you know, you're using like Might 3, you're using like a random Soul 3, you're using some relatively budget augments, and you have not invested too much on the augments themselves, then by all means, upgrading to the 7-star rarity armors are definitely going to be a big plus to you. So if you're in that camp, then by all means, upgrade to the 7-star rarity armor. You won't regret it. Now, if you're in the middle ground like my main character, where you're still using 5-star rarity armors, but you have some relatively endgame augments on them, It really depends on your personal financial situation. If you do have a lot of resources and a lot of meseta, then by all means upgrading cannot hurt you. It's going to be pretty beneficial, but just understand that you will need to play around with some budgeting because you don't want to overinvest into these armors, because remember, once the Stia region releases, we will be upgrading to a new armor. Because of the environmental damage, we're going to need the D-Hot stat, because yeah, we're just going to take a lot of burning damage if we don't take that stat. And I can guarantee you they're going to find a way where it's just going to burn through like percentage HP or something. So even if you are super tanky and have a lot of HP, you're still going to die relatively quickly if you don't have this D-Hot stat. So basically forcing everyone to upgrade to the new armor. So the TLDR is these new 7-star rarity armors, you're only going to get 2 months of mileage from them. If you're okay in investing, then by all means go ahead. If you're not okay in investing, then just skip it. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the